Greetings to everyone. The present research work is one-step green synthesis of zinc ferrite anodes for lithium-ion batteries. The research work is performed under the guidance of Professor P. Christopher Selvin, Department of Physics, Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Here goes the outline of the presentation. Introduction to the research problem, electrochemical mode of energy storage, lithium-ion battery, first for anode material, materials of interest, why do we go for green synthesis, experimental section, results and discussion, and finally concluding remarks. So with this slide, I would like to tell that we have different modes of energy storage mechanisms like chemical, electrochemical, electrical, and mechanical modes, among which the most popular and highly practical one is electrochemical mode of energy storage devices, which includes batteries like classic batteries and flow batteries. So in this slide, we have a comparative picture which shows the electrochemical mode of energy storage devices like flywheel batteries, compressed air storage, pump storage, power to gas storage mechanisms. And all these devices vary in their amount of capacity that can be stored within that, and the power density and the energy density that are able to deliver when opted for different applications. So basically, this is a method used to store energy or electricity in the form of chemicals. So the examples of these kinds of modes is batteries and supercapacitors. So comparatively, comparative to all the electrochemical mode of energy storage devices, batteries are the most practical applications that we can claim because they find wide varieties of applications in military, spacecrafts, portable electronics, implantable medical devices, communication technology, and many other things. So we have to say that batteries are boon to the human community, and also it is highly preferred for energy regeneration applications. The battery operating mechanism is very simple. Before that, we would like to state that batteries is a storage device which convert that stored chemical energy into electricity by performing certain reactions called electrochemical reactions. To be specific, they are oxidation and reduction reactions. Battery consists of two terminals called anode and cathode. One is a negative electrode and another one is a positive electrode. And we have a medium that is electrolyte solution. This solution connects these two electrodes, and we have another component called a separator. So the separator is a thin porous layer which separates the anode and cathode, that is these two electrodes, from getting short circuits. On operation, so it is very much straightforward. First one is switch on the device, which initiates the chemical reactions, and due to which production of charge carriers happens, and after that migration of charge carriers occurs, and which leads to the electrical work. So batteries we can classify into two broad way. First one is primary and secondary. To be simple, primary batteries are used for one time, and secondary batteries are rechargeable for multiple times. So what we say use and throw batteries are come under the case of primary batteries. Chemical reactions involved in this primary batteries are not reversible, whereas in the case of secondary batteries, we can reverse the chemical reactions by applying some external voltage on opposite direction. So examples for primary batteries are zinc carbon, zinc MnO2 batteries, and our daily commercial usage batteries like Duracell Average company batteries, AA, AAA sized C, D button cell batteries, 9-volt batteries are all coming under the category of primary batteries. Whereas in the case of secondary batteries, our lead acid, nickel, cadmium, nickel metal hydride, lithium-ion batteries are all coming under the categories of secondary batteries. So, but compared to different kinds of battery materials available, not the battery technology available, we prefer lithium-ion batteries. So which can be clearly mentioned, explained by from this diagram. So in this picture, we have compared different kinds of battery materials are being in practice for commercial applications like lead acid, nickel, cadmium, nickel metal hydride, lithium based batteries like lithium ion, lithium phosphate, lithium polymer batteries. So comparatively, we can say the lithium ion batteries provide higher energy density and better power density than other battery materials. In addition to that, why do we prefer lithium for battery applications? Because it has many salient features, so which are explained here. Lithium is the lightest metal among all, and the cell chemistry of lithium-ion battery is very unique, which other batteries can never claim that. And other features include zero memory effect, like a nickel metal hydride batteries possess a memory effect. So that kind of limitation is avoided in lithium-ion battery. And less of maintenance, high calendar life, very low self-recharge, even if it is not used for a long time, and many other features. Further, lithium ions are very small and light, so that large number of lithium ions can be stored in these electrodes. Over to the mentioned features, we have other advantages also, like higher power and energy density, and these battery materials can be operated at higher voltage, so that which allows a strong current, and long shelf life, that is only 5% of self discharge is observed for a month under normal days conditions. Whereas this is very much pretty high for other kinds of batteries like nickel metal hydride and nickel cadmium batteries. And the commercial applications of lithium-ion batteries. So recent times, power backups and UPS applications prefer lithium-ion batteries over regular lead-acid batteries. And mobile, laptops, camera, and other commonly used electronic devices are also prefer lithium-ion batteries. Electric vehicles is a recent attention for lithium-ion battery inclusion. And military applications, aerospace applications are highly commendable venture of this battery technology. Uh, the highlightable advantages of lithium-ion batteries are in a high energy density, low self-discharge, low to minimum maintenance, fast charging potential, high open circuit voltage compared to other batteries, non-polluting devices, and it has wide range of operational under different thermal conditions, different voltage, and different chemical conditions. However, the limitations are interfacial resistance, which is the hindrance for providing long cycle life, or also to integrate this technology for further higher end applications. And also these materials are quite temperature sensitive if different chemistry is employed. So to be specific, we are focusing on the anode compartment of a lithium ion battery because they play an important role in determination of the energy density, safety, and life cycle of lithium ion batteries. So these anode materials act as the host where they reversibly allow lithium ions to intercalate and deintercalate during charge discharge cycles. So the common anode material classification are like insertion type, alloy type, conversion materials like metal oxides. So general criteria for a material to act as anode in lithium-ion batteries are: it should possess high Coulombic efficiency, it should have fast lithium-ion diffusion, high electronic conductivity, minimum structural changes upon charge and discharge process, so that we can expect a long cycle life without any capacity fading, high specific capacity, the ability to form and maintain a stable solid electrolyte interface layer upon cycling. To be specific, among different classifications mentioned in the previous slide, we are focusing on transition metal oxide compounds because transition metal compounds are very popular and candidate in the periodic table, and they are preferred for wide range of applications. For in the case of battery applications, transition metal oxides exhibit more than one oxidation state, so that we can expect a better capacity out of these materials when preferred as anodic applications. They form an extensive series of compounds, that is, we can integrate the basic materials with the different varieties of metal elements, so that wide varieties of wide choice of anode materials are available when we prefer transition metal oxides for anode applications. So various transition metal oxides like cobaltates, tannates, barytes, and nickelates were used in numerous feeds. So in the present work, iron-based oxides have received the peculiar attention due to high surface area, chemical and thermal stability, and of course due to the inflexible nature. So we are focusing on phenol structure anode materials. So spinel structure anode materials. A spinel is a structure is a unit cell which is made up of 8 FCC cells made by oxygen ions in the configuration, that is octahedral configuration. So it is a big structure consisting of 32 oxygen atoms, 8 A site atoms, and 16 B site atoms. Depending on how cations occupy different interstitials, spinel structure can be normal or inverse. So general formula is Ab2O4, whereas atom is A ion is in 2+ state, whereas B ion is in 3+ state. So as mentioned earlier, we have two different spinel structure. One is normal and inverse spinel structure. The only key difference is when A site ions occupy the tetrahedral sites and all the B site ions occupy the octahedral sites. Whereas in the case of inverse spinel structure, half of the B site ions occupy tetrahedral sites, where the remaining half of the B site ions and A site ions occupy the octahedral sites. So this imposes the difference in the spinel structure. So, based on the vast literature survey, the material of interest for present research work is zinc ferrites, which possess high electronic conductivity. High electric conductivity, high thermal conductivity, excellent energy transfer efficiency properties, and appreciable theoretical capacity, which is in the range of 1000 milliampere per gram, and of course, high flexible nature. So we have different varieties of synthesis for preparation of zinc ferrites, like chemical route, thermal route, and physical route. Different varieties are available, but still all the above mentioned methods include chemical, like strong reducing agents, so which are not environmentally friendly. So we are focusing on alternate methods, so which will be discussed in later slide. So this is a comparative table which describes the different performances of the zinc ferrite material prepared by different modes of synthesis. Almost we can say significant variation in the crystallite size and different morphology also. And the material exhibit capacity, intercalation deintercalation behavior in the different voltage window, depending on the electrochemical setup employed for testing that material. So as mentioned earlier, we are focusing on green synthesis method. So green synthesis of transition metal oxide offers many advancement over traditional chemical routes because they are simple, safe, and cost effective. And also they eliminate the risk of toxicity in our system and produce stable, reproducible materials. As mentioned earlier, they are eco-friendly and no harmful byproduct is produced. So generally in green synthesis mode, the extract of plant parts, fruits, bacterial and fungi biomass and the biopolymers are used. Among all, the plant extract has a wide variety of aromatics and phenolic species that not only reduces the metal salt but also stabilizes the engineered nanoparticles without any add-on surfactants or capping agents. So as mentioned earlier, we are getting into the green synthesis mode for preparing zinc ferrite nanoparticles. So for that purpose, Actinidia deliciosa extract was prepared, which is nothing but a kiwi fruit. So which includes major phytochemicals are available in just crude extracts of this fruit, so which facilitates the reduction of the metal salts into corresponding metal oxides. Further, this fruit extract is rich in vitamin C and vitamin A and E, which is highly beneficial for reducing the corresponding metal salts into metal oxides. So in this perspective, we are preparing zinc ferrite nanoparticles using the extract of Actinidia deliciosa extracts. Preparation and characterization techniques. In this slide, we are showing the preparation steps involved in preparing the zinc ferrite nanoparticles. So initially, metal salts were taken, and if plant extract was prepared, to be specific, fruit extract was prepared, and later blending of this extract with the metal complexes were made by means of magnetic stirrer, and it was under continuous stirring for 3 hours and at 80 degrees Celsius. And after 3 hours, the obtained gel was made into powder by drying in hotter oven for 120 degrees Celsius. Later on, the obtained powder were calcined in the muffle furnace at 700 degrees Celsius to form corresponding metal oxides. And after 4 hours, zinc ferrite nanopowders were obtained. These are the different characterization techniques employed for analyzing the properties of zinc ferrite nanoparticles. Results and discussion. As mentioned earlier, first initially structural analysis was made by means of XRD analysis. XRD picture implies a sharp and well-ordered diffraction planes, which indicates the high crystalline nature of the prepared samples. And all the samples were indexed to the spinel cubic structure, that is cubic symmetry, without any detected impurity of secondary phases, so which indicates that phase pure sample is practically achievable by means of green synthesis route. And the present sample is in line with the JCPD card number 221012, and which lies into the space group of FD3M, and we could calculate the unit cell parameter, which is 8.44 angstrom. These are the other structural parameters obtained out of XRD results. So compare by means of Debye-Scherrer formula, we can calculate the crystallite size, which is in the range of 28 nanometer. And dislocation density is also very low, which indicates low defect concentration is involved in this material, which is 0.12 into 10 by 15. Whereas in the case of strain, which is also very much low, like which is 1 into 10 power minus 3. Followed by the structural analysis, we went for morphological analysis by means of HRSEM. Morphological images of the zinc ferrite indicate the cubic shaped grains. But however, agglomeration of these grains are inevitable, so which may be due to the ferrite involvement of ferrite component in our sample. And we calculated the grain size distribution using images software, which was in the range of 30 to 40 nanometer, which is also in the line of XRD results obtained earlier. The cube shape of the ferrite nanoparticles formation has induced by fruit enzymes and other compounds like serotonin, potassium present in the region, which may influence the morphology of the spinel structure, because it is highly commendable, because which do not include any kind of artificial surfactants or capping agents. And followed by that, we made elemental analysis. Only desirable elements are existed in the sample matrix, like zinc ferrites. Zinc, Fe, and O composition was estimated by means of EDAX analysis. That is, atomic weight percentage indicate a relatable value of chemical relatable value of all the elements, so which falls in the line of certain Fe to O4 composition. So these are the even distribution of these elements across the sample is illustrated by means of EDAX mapping. Followed by that, we have a FTR analysis, which indicates the vibrational peaks of the peaks of the different modes. So initially, the low wave number are assigned to the metal oxide, whereas the higher wave number are assigned to the metal hydroxide complexes. We can say, so this region is ascribed to the vibration of metal oxide region, that is this region, whereas in the case of higher wave number region, which can be ascribed to the metal hydroxide interaction. Comparatively, metal oxide region is highly intense than this material, so we can say that a small interaction of this may not impact the electrochemical results of this material. Anyhow, we can incorporate these results if we see any changes in the CV patterns. Followed by that, we have Raman analysis. So this is the picture obtained for zinc ferrite nanostructure out of Raman analysis, which show 5 first order Raman active modes, 1 A1G, EG, and 3 F2G modes, and the corresponding index is given in these discussions. So the formation of spinel zinc ferrite nanostructure was supported in this picture. Followed by that, we have electrochemical analysis by means of cyclic voltammetry. So for this analysis, the electrochemical setup employed was working electrode, aqueous KOH, platinum counter electrode. So for the purpose of nullifying the effect of interaction of working electrode with fellow components, we are connecting a reference electrode, that is AgCl, with the working electrode. So for working electrode, we employed copper foil. On the copper foil, working electrode was coated and used for analysis. The Hobson setup was ramped for different scan rates at a potential window, like minus 0.3 to 0.6, which was versus reference electrode. So these are the CV patterns obtained for this particular sample, and we can say well separated and sharp reduction and oxidation peaks for zinc ferrite nanoparticles, and this one is for the sample CV recorded at 1 millivolt per second scan rate, and we could vary the cyclic voltammetry for different scan rates, and the system was completely reversible. However, compared to this one, we could see a shoulder-like peak at 1 milliwatt per scan rate. As mentioned in the FTR analysis, this may have arisen out of the metal hydroxide interaction, but this got vanished on repeating the cyclic voltammetry analysis for different scan rates. So we no need to bother about this shoulder peak. And these are the outcomes of CV would like to highlight. A well-separated pair of redox peaks are obtained for this particular system. The pattern was reversible for different scan rates and cycles. The square root of scan rate varies linearly with the current value, and the peak potential separation is approximately 200 milliwatt. So all these points match with the reversibility of, that is the requirement for reversible nature of a particular electrochemical system. So based on these observations, we can correlate a quasi-reversible nature of this particular electrochemical system. However, we have to go for GCD, that is charge discharge analysis, which may throw more light on this particular behavior. As concluding remarks, we would like to highlight that the XRD results reveal that the prepared zinc ferrite nanoparticles is in cubic spinel structure with the FT3M space group and have a crystallite sizes of approximately 28 nanometer. A uniform morphology of the green root synthesized spinel zinc ferrites were confirmed with the HRSM analysis. And for the chemical composition and purity of the spinel anodes were examined using EDICE and mapping results. Followed by that, Raman and FTR analysis reveal vibrational states of the prepared sample. Electrochemical analysis by means of CV implies a sound redox behavior of the prepared sample. Thank you. See, these are the few references I would like to quote, which are very relevant to the present research work. Authors acknowledge Bhargava University for providing necessary facilities to carry out the project. One of the authors, Dr. D. Lakshmi, acknowledges CSIR for the financial assistance under research association. The corresponding author, Professor P. Christopher Selvin, acknowledges DST CRG grant for the financial aid.